And I think that you very hard to supervise, very hard to deal with, got a horrible attitude.
So this parole hearing comes down to what supervision actually requires. The offender agreed to certain conditions, but when the officers tried to enforce them, he gave an explanation that the board is just not willing to accept. Watch how quickly they push back on his attitude and his excuses. My name is Dan. This is the Courtroom Files.
Good morning.
Okay. Is this Gabriel Francis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Gabriel Francis, you're here for a parole revocation. And my name is Carolyn Stapleton. And today is May the 20th, and I'm from headquarters. And headquarters staff, will you introduce yourself, please?
Shayla Thompson.
Okay.
Right?
And Jasmine Thompson. Okay. And on the panel today is myself, Carolyn Stapleton, Pete Freeman, and Steve Prater. So I'm gonna ask you, do you have I want you to introduce yourself with your DOC number, please.
Gabriel Francis, 5040202.
Okay. Do you have a questionnaire?
Yes, ma'am. I believe so.
Yes, sir. According to how you answered the questionnaire, you're not considered eligible for appointed counsel. You're aware of that?
No, ma'am. I wasn't aware of that.
Okay. Did you want to retain or hire your own counsel?
No, ma'am. I mean, at this point, I can't afford.
Okay. Okay, that's understandable. Okay, well, thank you very much. Okay, so today the person that is going to be handling your case on the panel is Mr. Pete Freeman, and I'm going to hand the case over to him.
Okay, Mr. Francis, I'm gonna read the conditions that is alleged you violated. You plead guilty or not guilty, and we'll discuss them as we go. Condition number 4, I will not engage in any criminal activity, nor will I associate with people who are known to be involved in criminal activity. I will avoid bars and casinos, and I will refrain from illegal use of drugs or alcohol. You're on 2/18/26, you tested positive for opiates, and you also admitted that you used marijuana on 3/3/26. How do you plead to those charges?
Not guilty.
Okay. And also on 2/18/26, you obstructed justice in that you would not give the probation officer your telephone. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
Okay, tell me about it. And please sit up straight. Don't sit like that.
No, I am sitting up straight. Like more?
Okay, no, that's good. You're good. All right. So tell me about the phone. I want to know about this phone. Why wouldn't you give him the phone?
Because when I got into the probation and parole office, he asked me to come to the back. I got to the back and he asked me about a piss test. Well, I wasn't able to piss, but I put like 2 drops of pee in the cup, and he said it was dirty for opiates. I didn't know what opiates is, and I told him no, like it was impossible. Maybe it wasn't enough pee. He then asked me, he said, well, let's go get a second look. So got back there to the office, and he placed cuffs on me, and then they started reading me my rights. Then I had the right to feel like this was all like a trick or some kind of setup. So then once they read me my rights, then he said they asked me about my phone, to go through my phone. But to my understanding, you just read me my rights, which I have a right to remain silent. So I basically chose to remain silent and wouldn't allow them to do anything because I didn't know. I mean, what you charging me with? What am I like? What criminal conduct did I engage in or anything for this basically to take place or for you to handle me like this?
Right. Okay, well, let me ask you this. I mean, did you sign a sex offender contract when you were placed on probation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, didn't it say that they have a right to look at all of your computers, telephones, any kind of stuff like that?
I didn't really remember that part of it. No,
Okay. You don't remember that you couldn't have any social media?
no, I don't have any social media.
Okay, you know, while we're at it, tell me about these phone calls with your mother. I listened to them. Tell me what you was trying to accomplish there.
Me and my mom has the same basically account. Like she can look at my account because it's basically her account. I use a phone number from off of her account. We share the same accounts, right? So whenever he told me that it was a social media account, he said it was Facebook. Somebody told him I was on Facebook and I was sending threats. So when I got to the jail, I called her to make sure. I wanted her to see from her account. Like if she go and look up the information on her account, she would be able to see. Which when she went and seen, she didn't see no what he was saying, like no social media.
Right. It sounded like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, I listened to both telephones. It didn't sound like that's what you was trying to do. It was trying to make sure you wasn't associated with any Facebook accounts, it sounded like, and you was trying to
No,
get your name off.
no. I told her to make sure I wasn't on there at all. Like make sure nothing was linking me to that. Because even though
Okay,
I mean,
all right, so you was trying to make sure that you wasn't linked to it.
yeah, because I heard what he said. So I just basically called her to make sure, like, look, take a look at this and go and see. Make sure I'm not linked to none of this.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna go on and read the other violations and we're gonna hear from your probation officer, Miss Melissa Barris. So hold on, Miss Barris. I'm gonna get to you. Okay, so the other violations all deal pretty much with the same thing. I will truthfully and properly answer all questions directed to me by my parole officer. On 2/18/26, they wanted to inspect your phone. You failed to answer truthfully about your phone, stating you left it at work. It was determined that it was in your car. And then once they got it, you didn't want to give them the code to get in. You saying that you didn't want to do it because they read you your rights and you wanted to remain solid. Is that correct?
Right. I was just being, and he knew that because I was being sarcastic. I already had been stated that I wasn't gonna give him my phone. So it was basically a sarcastic statement, like just being like, I left it at work. I left it in the car. Like, because I already made it clear that I wouldn't give him my phone after you didn't read me my rights.
All right. Uh, And I agree to live, visit at my residence or place employed by the parole officer at any time. I also agree to searches of my person, property, residence, and or vehicle when reasonable suspicion exists that I have been engaged in criminal conduct. You pleaded not guilty to that, and it was the same thing. You didn't want to let them inspect your phone. Uh, and then number 10, you owe $1,827 in fees. Have you ever paid anything on your fees?
No, sir.
Okay. Were you ever working while you out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why you didn't pay on the fees?
Because I was paying rent. I pay my rent. I paid to basically to live. I mean, and
Okay.
that I was gonna pay it. I mean, that month I got a call and I was gonna pay it.
Okay. Well, let's hear from Miss Melissa Barris. Miss Barris, tell us your side of what's going on.
Well, Mr. Freeman, I'm actually the supervisor of his
Yes, ma'am.
officer, which is Officer Cato. And on that date, on February 18th of 2026, when he was brought to my office for me to do the electronic inspection of the phone based on those complaints that Officer Cato received, he first acted like he did not have the phone. And then he also, I did give him his Miranda warning due to my training, because in the event that criminal activity was confirmed, I didn't want the evidence to be suppressed because I didn't know the nature of that evidence. And he refused to provide the passcode. He refused to allow me to do the electronic inspection. His his sex offender contract was brought to the office along with his certificate and his file. And I showed that to him, and he still continued to not allow me to do the inspection of his phone.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, let's hear from his officer, Mr. Cato. Thank you for joining us today, Ms. Bowers.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, tell us what went on with him and how he violated his probation.
Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna shut my office door if that's all right.
Sure. Yes, sir.
All right. So on the morning of February 18th of this year, I received a phone call from Joyce Carter, who advised me that she was at the courthouse filing for a petition for protective order against Gabriel Francis. She alleged that he had been sending messages to her and her husband via Facebook Messenger. And she then provided me with the petition for protective order. We looked up the name that she provided for his Facebook. Ms. Melissa and I looked at it on Ms. Melissa's work phone, and it did appear that it was his active Facebook account based on the pictures on the Facebook. So we called him in because we wanted to verify if he had social media active on his phone. We called him in that day. I did drug screen him. He was only able to provide a very minimal sample, is probably about 2 or 3 drops. So not all of the lines even read, but he was positive for opiates. His claim on that day was that he had taken one of his own pain pills from an old prescription that would have no longer been valid. I asked him if he was able to provide that prescription to us. He said it was not. But he said it was his own prescription, just an old one. I did say we were going to get a second opinion. That was my way of bringing him back to the office. We had been instructed, due to the instant offense that he was on for, that when we searched his phone, we were to have him secured in handcuffs, because he's currently on supervision for disarming an officer. We brought him back. Miss Melissa began to read him his rights after I put him in handcuffs, explained to him, "You're not under arrest at this time, but we are detaining you." Miss Melissa's going to explain everything. She advised that we wanted to check his phone for any illegal activity. She began to read him his rights. He refused to provide his phone, said, "I left it at the office. I left it back at work." He was working at a hotel. Said, "I left it in the room there." I explained to him, was like, "Well, you texted me when you first got here, so there's no way you left your phone there." He's like, "Well, I don't have it. I don't have it." Finally, another officer went outside, was able to obtain the phone from his sister, who was parked outside, but then he wouldn't give us the passcode. We explained that, well, if you refuse to do this, then we are still going to book you for parole violations. And he said, "All right, let's go. Take me to jail." So at that point, we then, I served him that same week with a notice of preliminary hearing with those violations. We reached out to the Attorney General's office regarding the investigation for his phone, because we did confiscate his phone at that time. Since that time, I don't know if y'all have received it. We had another preliminary hearing on Friday for him, because the Attorney General's office has issued arrest warrants for 4 counts of unlawful use of social media and 2 counts of failure to register as a sex offender.
So do you know what they found on? They did find he had an account there.
So that was through their searches of, because they ended up subpoenaing records from Meta for Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. So they were able to find it. They were never, I don't believe at this time, I don't know if they've actually gotten into his phone, but they have found the other information about him.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, does any of my colleagues have a question for Ms. Barras or, Mr. Cato?
I don't.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions for the offender. Does, do either of y'all have any, questions?
I don't. Mr. Prater?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ready to vote when the panel's ready?
Mr. Freeman, we're ready to vote. You would vote first.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Mr. Gabriel, it's quite obvious. You wouldn't give him the phone and you signed the contract, so that's the end of that. I find you in violation of condition number 4, number 7, number 9, and number 13, and my vote is to revoke.
Mr. Prater?
Yes, sir. My vote is to revoke also. When you're on a sex offender contract, you're not supposed to be on your phone on social media, and to find out or not, you got to let us inspect it. And I think that you're very hard to supervise, very hard to deal with, got a horrible attitude, and in violation of the conditions mentioned by Mr. Freeman.
So you find that you revoking for the same, conditions,
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Okay.
Correct.
And I concur with Mr. Freeman. I'll revoke you also for the conditions that he mentioned earlier. So today, sir, your parole has been revoked and the time is 9:13 at Lafayette Parish Correctional Center.
Parole's different from just being out in the world with no supervision. Once someone agrees to the conditions, the system is going to expect cooperation. And honestly, his attitude here clearly didn't help him. But I'm curious what you think about how things were handled, so take a moment and let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and check out one of the 2 that are on your screen right now. Thank you for watching.